Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to BBRC Britain and English on this rather sunny day here. Now, we've had quite a few warmer days in the last, well, I should say perhaps week or so. Certainly it's his forecast for a few showers. Might help out the gardeners, but certainly it is quite warm at the moment. But we are in springtime, so it is as expected, but we do get a lot of spring showers here, as you well know. Sometimes we get rain, even snow in the summer. But those of you from overseas who perhaps are considering coming here may be interested to know that there are various summer events on. And if you're looking into English culture, you probably want to go to a few gardens, mentioning gardens, cream tea, perhaps visiting a few summer fetes or whatever. And certainly there's a few things of interest in the locality around here. Certainly in Gloucester City there's a cathedral, but also we do have dragon boat racing. I think there's a competition, and there may well be the Tall Ships Festival, which brings in ships from different places. The historic ships, the tall ships in other words. But if you're interested in big city life, well, no doubt you'll be going to London, perhaps Birmingham, or even Manchester, but you'll certainly see different things, and also the retail. But also if you're looking at general culture, getting into the country, maybe you're going to go to a few gardens, as I say, National Trust, English Heritage, or a few other places. Now, just to say, there are things open. There will be some village fetes, there will be classic car shows. Any of you interested in cars, or steam rallies, or perhaps any of you ladies interested in other things, there's quite a few things going on, but that will pan out through the summer, most of it will start in about probably end of May, June, and of course there'll be more on in the summer, through the summer, and of course in the summer holidays. But costs have risen, and there's a lot of talk at the moment about different costs and about problems, and about certainly we've got a lot of national issues at the moment, perhaps better not to be mentioned, but certainly there's a lot on the agenda for the PM to sort out, the Prime Minister. Perhaps he's not being a leader at the moment, more a follower. Anyway, looking forward to perhaps some of the news. You might have realised the King and Camilla are in America. I think they've left today, and they're out to see the President Donald Trump for a few days, after he's had a bit of a challenging weekend for another attempt on his life. Terrible things with these guns. Don't know what they do it for. Certainly there's no reason for it. Whatever political view you have, or divide, or whatever else it is, there's no need for that. But some people say the inflammatory language, both in America and perhaps in the UK, can stoke up a division, and that's on both sides. I know a lot of people talk about different parties. Certainly Labour are not very, that's the current government, they are not very popular at the moment. There's a lot of problems, and they're always changing things and performing U-turns. But there's a lot of language perhaps from the Greens and others in some ways, and perhaps we need to realise that we all have a role to create peace. And there's always going to be division, and we're not always going to agree, but certainly we should encourage each other and actually accept one another's opinions. There's too much of a cancel culture, it's been mentioned at the moment. I think one of the universities a few years ago took down a photograph of Theresa May, the former Prime Minister, because they didn't like an empowered woman, because she was the Prime Minister and she happened to be a Conservative Prime Minister, which is very strange, because you think empowering women is what they want to talk about these days. We've heard about the Archbishop of Canterbury. Well, Sarah Mullally, she's a lady. We're even talking about if it'll influence the Catholic Church now to include more women. Well, I think it should be the best person for the job. Meritocracy is probably better. Anyway, now that's a message for today. You may have realised that after quite a few months of problems in the world, those of us who are Christians perhaps should pray about it all, about all the problems with Iran, and of course still ongoing in Ukraine with Putin. And there's a lot in the world that we need to think about, and of course we can all do our bit locally. They say act locally, think globally. Now there's a few words here, probably you won't have heard them all before, and you might find it rather interesting. I'll start with just a few words to finish with for the end of this session, which I know has been rather short, but certainly it's quite hot here. The sun's out, and anybody interested in sport, don't forget over the summer you've got Wimbledon. At the moment we've got snooker on, the World Championship in Sheffield, and of course there'll probably be a few odd football matches, and of course cricket over the summer. And of course, you know, we've always been a very prominent sporting nation, although perhaps not very good at some of the sports. Telegenic. Bamboozled. Expediency. Implicit. And exquisite. Now, there's a few words. I hope that they give you something to think about and to look up, and certainly those of you from overseas will find that interesting. If you are from England, well, there's no doubt a few things you know which you probably think I could add to this, and to add value to it, and perhaps for any international visitors, and perhaps some of you from different parts of the country and you have things going on you'd like to talk about, do put it in the comments if you'd like to, because I know some of you are from Scotland, Wales, Ireland. There's all sorts going on, and perhaps cultural events as well. Thanks very much for watching. This has been BBRC Britain and English. Bye bye now.